with you and be with you. 'Cause all I ever want is to be with you, be with you, only with you, only with you. Yes, you, my Mawla. Ya Rabbi sallimna wa akrimna سقنا وارحمنا يا مولا يا ربي سلمنا وأكرمنا وارزقنا وارحمنا يا أنت حبيبي أنت نوري أنت ولي أنت كلي أنت حبيبي أنت نوري أنت ولي أنت كلي तेरी याद में तू जाऊं.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. All praises be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with an abundance of salutations to be on our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You are tuned into the BU4U Show with myself, Mehreen Mia, coming to you live from Pietermaritzburg on 105.6 FM. If you're in Durban and the surrounding areas, you're listening to us on 90.4 FM. And wherever you are in the world, if you're live streaming through to us, we're extending a very warm and a huge welcome to you as well. The show is exactly what it's called. It's about you. It is for you. And of course, to make the best of you and myself, inshallah, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before I continue, and as I always do, we give credit and, of course, a shout out to my tech here, Brother Kumalo, and, of course, my tech there today, Brother Zakaria. Lovely to have you on board today. Alhamdulillah, without my techs, you would be listening to me. So let's give them credit. I always say, the techs run boss. Anyway, I say that at risk, but anyway, they do run boss. Let me just say, today's program is a highlight. Today's program is one of the legendary ones. Today's program for me, especially personally, and I think for everyone in Al Ansar as well. We are honestly blessed to have our guest in studio with us today. And this gentleman is somebody that does not need any introduction, I can tell you that. But everybody in the world knows him to be a legend. He is regarded as somebody who's legendary. He's somebody who's I respect highly, and I know everybody across the globe respects this gentleman. And of course, he's a mentor. In my book, this gentleman is the epitome of what leadership is about. And he's also not just about individualistic growth. He's about community growth. He's about building people globally. And before I continue with more of his introduction, let me also say that I want to extend a request to everyone who is out there. If we could please remember this gentleman who is Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, his brother-in-law, who is Mr. Ahmad Mita, who is critically ill at the moment. We make dua for him, inshallah, that Allah grant Uncle Ahmad Mita absolute shifa kamila soon, inshallah, with complete recovery and, of course, strength to him and his family as well. Like I said to you, it's Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, but you know what? For today, we know the world knows him, knows about him. We know about the gift of the givers. We know all of these things. But today, alhamdulillah, we are going to be blessed to actually get to know Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman and what his take is on what we've been through. Now, a little bit of a bio about him, and I know Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman is listening to me and he's going to be like, I told her not to say all these things, but there's no way you can have such a legendary somebody in a studio and have an interview and not say just something about who he is, right? So in 1994, he made the life-changing decision and he closed his thriving medical practice and he chose instead to dedicate himself totally to humanitarian work, and that was through the Gift of the Givers Foundation, which of course he had founded in August 1992. And of course we know the inspiration for that foundation came from a spiritual calling which Dr. Sooliman received at the age of 30 from his spiritual teacher, Sufi Sheikh Muhammad Safir Effendi al-Jahari in Istanbul in Turkey. The message of course instructed him to serve all people regardless of race, religion, color, class, political affiliation, or any geographical location. And this spiritual mission has guided his work to over 3 decades and remains, of course, at the heart of the organization's ethos, and I think of the heart of him as well. So under his leadership, the Gift of the Givers has grown into, I think everybody knows this, the largest disaster response organization in the African region, and of course, one of the most respected humanitarian agencies of the world. Alhamdulillah for that. And over the past 32 years, the organization itself has achieved numerous world firsts and groundbreaking milestones. And I'm just going to, there's too many to mention. And I know Dr. Sooliman said, please don't mention all. So I'm just going to highlight one or two. You know, in terms of delivering humanitarian aid, that was over the value of 6 billion. That's over these years that have passed, assisting millions of people in 47 countries, including our own. Of course, they designed and developed in 1993 the world's first ever containerized mobile hospital. And that was deployed in Bosnia and described by CNN as comparable to the best hospitals in Europe. Alhamdulillah. We know that through his unwavering commitment to humanitarian service, Dr. Sooliman has helped shape Gift of the Givers into a leading force in disaster response and, of course, development, demonstrating what is possible with compassion, innovation, and community-driven solutions, where coming together is how we can address any form of human suffering. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, it is an honor for me to actually greet you and welcome you to the BU4U Show on Radio Al Ansar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's such an honor for us to have you here. I'm sorry, technical glitches are going to be sorted now. But Alhamdulillah, can you hear me properly? Let me just ask you that first.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alhamdulillah, shukr. So, today we're talking about community healing. We're talking about holistic community healing. We're talking about the growth of communities. And the reason I think that's so apt for especially somebody like you is in the field. And, especially in the past year, you have been on the ground. You know what people go through, and you also know what it takes to actually meet those challenges to create more peace than there is suffering. So just to ask you very quickly, what do you think about this holistic community healing and growth, and why is it important, especially when we look at from a community point of view? We need to prioritize how communities can help with that healing and growth. But why is that important, and what do you think about that concept?
In the old days, I come from a place called Potchefstroom.
Yes.
Can you hear me there now?
Yes, I can.
I come from. We live with community support all the ways. If you look at it, it was like one big family, and we need to go back to that kind.
Everybody was one big family.
What we had in the
whether
old
there
days.
was healing or no healing, just having fun or not having fun. Every aspect
of life, we were one big family. To the point, if somebody found a parent and said, "Your child is very naughty, he's done this, that, and the other,"
Yes.
and the parent would turn around and say, "Give one shot." You know what?
Yes,
My
exactly.
son or my daughter is your daughter, or your son.
Yes.
They didn't really mean a hiding or corporal punishment.
Yeah.
But I explained, just straighten the guy or out, the boy or the girl out. And it was done with so much of love.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids were kept on the straight path because nobody felt offended.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody took an interest in each other. We've lost that way
Yes.
in the country, in the continent, and in the world. If there's a funeral, everybody gets involved. But funeral people do get involved.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's a wedding, you don't expect somebody to invite the entire town to the wedding.
Yes.
But people will generously come and make themselves available, help for the wedding, show love, and not get offended at all
Yes.
if they're not invited. If somebody was sick, everybody wants to cook food or come to the hospital or visit you. If somebody had any kind of problem, people did that kind of stuff. It's not something that hasn't been done before. It has been done in the past.
Yes.
And it's been done very extensively. It did happen again during COVID.
Yes.
People really looked after for each other. Somebody got ill and somebody else would cook. And the strange part is this time, they didn't even know who the person was.
Yes.
They just knew somebody had COVID from some house. The wife is sick or somebody is sick in the house. And, the family needs support. And people would go and do that during the time of COVID. The next time this happened in a big way was during the civil unrest of July 21
Yes.
in KZN. After the few days of all the disturbance and the crisis in all the disturbance in the different areas, people got together and people started buying bread, milk, making water available, getting hygiene packs, getting milk powder, and supporting each other irrespective of the incident, what happened, who caused it, and how it happened. There was a sense of community. The following year, was a great achievement in that. I don't mean the floods was an achievement, but April 22, there was the floods hit in a huge way in KZN. And strangely enough, the areas that were affected were the same areas that were involved in the looting the year before.
Yes.
And the same people who were looted, other people who came to the support of those who looted them.
Alhamdulillah.
And it built a sense of love and affection and care among people. It showed goodness. It showed how, people forgive and, they work together and build relationships. And that's what's required. In our country, we need healing. People haven't healed from the past. justice hasn't been done to them. Yes, there's political liberation, but there's no economic liberation. People are still dependent.
Yes.
If you look at the crisis of the people, you see the hunger, the poverty, and the difficulty of healthcare, education, and water. It's probably worse now than it was before.
Yes.
Of course, the population is much bigger. The tax base is much lower. 7.4 million people's taxes can't look after 65 million people, irrespective of the political party that's involved.
Yes.
So yes, we need community support. It's an Islamic concept.
Yes.
It's an Islamic concept.
Yes.
We don't wait for government. And as human beings, we extend support to each other. And that's our teaching.
Yes.
It doesn't matter race, color, religion, because we have to change our thinking. Sorry, I'm bringing so many points
it's fine. It's
but we
fine.
have to change our thinking. We are too zakah oriented, and we carry on like Muslims are the only people who got trouble in the world. The Prophet ﷺ didn't come for Muslims.
Yes.
He came for all of mankind. He came
Subhanallah.
as rahmatan lil alameen. He came to help, bring ease and relief to people in distress in any part of his society, whatever creed they were, whether they follow religion or not. And we really need to go back to that, where we need to show total love to any human being, not on race, religion, but the fact that the person is a human being, and even taking care of animals, obviously.
Yes, of course. Alhamdulillah. And I love the fact that you've touched on the fact, that the Islamic ethos is so key for us to take that forward as well, because it's doing great vision actually. Of course, we're following Sunnah. But just based on that, and remember, you mentioned just now the fact that we had COVID, and then we had this, and then we had floods, and how everybody came together, even in the individual way. And just based on that, Dr. Sooliman, what role and you are a leader, but what role do you think leaders play when it comes to actually healing communities and trying to grow communities, building together as well? Because remember, much of it is all about the individualistic growth. It's about me as a person and what I think I can do to try and help because there's this catastrophe that's just happened. But in terms of a leader who's showing people how to bring themselves out and try to help, what do you think leaders should be doing in order to build this holistic harmony and healing and growth in communities?
They should lead by example. I have to talk about what we do. For example, let's take, we don't need something theoretical. Let's take it practical. I'm part of floods of June. Sorry, it's got echo again. 1 second. Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can.
I think you have to put one mic off at a time. Yeah, in the Amtata floods, in the moment it happened. Well, before it happened, because we so well know about our speed of response, the government, the premiers, MEC, disaster management, provision management, mayors from 8 different districts called us and said, please, we want you online. Please help us in case that, the major level 6 disaster happens. That is leadership.
Yes.
That is leadership because you're admitting that I don't know how to do this.
Yes.
And that takes great humility. Leadership acts in the interest of people. If they were acting in the interest of their own ego, they wouldn't have come to us because they would have thought people think they're stupid. They can't do this, that, and the other. But the leadership taught them that they need help in this process. And they came to us. And of course, we put all our teams online with them. And leadership from our side means we understand and we accept their challenges. And that there is no arrogance on our side, but a willingness and determination and a commitment to work together in the interest of the bigger cause, which is the people of this country, in this case, Amtata and Batawat. And when you start working that way, the first aspect of leadership is to remove all ego.
Yes.
Never think that you know more than anybody else. My sheikh told me, in whatever you do, remember that what you do is done through you and not by you.
Subhanallah.
And you have to keep repeating, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. There's no power and no strength except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need to understand that practically. I mean, saying these things that has no meaning is pointless. You have to live it in your life. And when you do that, you build this healing, the sense of community. To the point that when we walked into Amtata, people said, we are safe now.
Alhamdulillah.
People have arrived. We are completely safe. It's that kind of respect. But that respect comes of humility. And you appreciate the ministers and the premiers, 12 to 14 ministers. And several deputy ministers came to the site itself, also to thank us for our intervention. But we didn't look at this as an individual practice.
Yes.
The SAPS, disaster management, search and rescue, we brought in search and rescue teams from 5 provinces, all working together as South Africans. An important thing to remember is this. We take off the branding, take off the labels, take off the uniforms. If you take all that off,
We are just an ordinary human being.
Subhanallah.
And you as ordinary human beings are working to the interests of other human beings. So again, my emphasis is no ego, a sense and a willingness to work together. And to be honest, for the last several years, we've had phenomenal cooperation,
Yes, alhamdulillah.
working together with government departments, with police people, such and as to. And as an aside, I just want to say something.
Yes, sure.
We must stop saying that government is corrupt and SAPS is corrupt.
Yes.
They're not corrupt. There's corrupt people in government. There's corrupt people in our mosques,
Yes.
in our society, in our own religion. Let's be honest.
Yes, there
Let's
is.
not hide things under the carpet.
Yes.
It's there's corruption in the corporate world, in the religious world, in the sports world, in the academic world. People are corrupt. Government's not corrupt.
Yes.
There's corrupt people in government, and there's
Exactly.
corrupt people in SAPS, but SAPS is not corrupt. And as an aside, before I come back to the Tata story, let's go back to the April 22 floods. The Captain Busi from Marisburg, you know where you're sitting right now,
Yes.
jumped into Henley Dam, dived into Henley Dam to take out not a live person, but to take out a baby, a child, and an old man to give closure to those two families.
Yes. I
In the
remember.
process, she drowned. What did they bring home to that day to the Captain Busi's home? They brought a body, not a live police person. And those kids had to bear the fact that their mothers brought home, trying to save somebody else.
Yes.
Not live, but deceased people to give closure to somebody else. And they keep hearing this fact, SCPS is corrupt, SCPS is corrupt, SCPS is corrupt. What's it going to do to the psyche and the being and self-esteem of those kids?
Yes.
We can't take an entire group of people because of the bad habit of somebody else. How do we Muslims? We don't like it when somebody says, hey, Muslims throw a bomb somewhere.
Exactly.
Muslims are terrorists. They're fundamentalists. And we all get labeled. We don't like that. So why are we doing this to somebody else?
Yes.
So let's go back to Tata. When we got there, the police came to us and said, the helicopter is yours. Do what you want.
Alhamdulillah.
Go every area you want. We made sure we paid for the drinks and the food for everybody. It didn't matter whether they were government or not. It didn't matter to us. These are human beings. If they take the jackets off, they're ordinary people, fathers, brothers, sisters, mothers. They are human beings. We need to understand that.
Yes.
And then, as another mention, we're the only people in South Africa that are non-SAPS that drive SAPS vehicles.
Sure.
They
Alhamdulillah.
bring it to us and say, take it. Do what you want. Don't bring your own vehicles. Go wherever you want. Do whatever you want. You are us. We are not them and
So
you.
you are
We
one.
are us. You are SAPS. You are us. You are the people. And together we acknowledge everyone working together. Because we work together, we found every single person that drowned. 103 people we found working together.
Yes.
We could never do this alone.
Us.
We got the support of the community. We said we don't know who's missing. You guys got to tell us who's missing. We got the support of the community, of the farmers, of the ordinary people. We said, identify, can you see a body somewhere? And they would phone in, yes, we saw a body here, we saw somebody there. So this is community working together, bringing food together, bringing water together, providing counseling services, psychosocial support, providing homes, blankets, medicine. It's done together. And when you do that together, you feel a sense of healing,
Yes.
you feel support, you feel positivity, and you feel hope.
Subhanallah. And alhamdulillah, this is how you actually build that community and teach them that growing actually starts within each one of you. And I also love that we touched on the fact of generalization being wrong. Because when we generalize, it's actually part of how we're creating more corruption. We actually need to curb that and realize what's really what, in order to identify what's going on. But what you said is so important in terms of humility. And humility is key for us, especially in certain roles that we play. In whatever we're doing, we have to remain humble. But in keeping with what we're saying, in these adverse conditions that you have worked in, your people have worked in, and yet you've brought peace, even closure to some. Like you're saying in terms of the police officer and what happened there. But and I can't not touch on this with you, Dr. Sooliman. When it comes to adversities and how people get through it individually, and even sometimes with a smile, no matter what they're going through, that for me is an ideal lesson that we're still getting from Gaza. It's a lesson that we're still getting from our people of Palestine, that no matter what they're going through, you're still seeing that child in a video who's smiling. You're still seeing a mother who's crying, but still saying, Allah is still my all. So, that kind of strength in the matter of in adversity in itself from our people of Gaza is teaching us lessons, no matter what. And I know in this past year, you have been absolutely active in terms of what to do and how to do things for people of Gaza. Now, there are many other organizations as well. But in terms of how communities build resilience, for me, our people of Palestine build that resilience within themselves with their iman and the fact that they stay true to themselves and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in terms of communities, how do you think, using this essence of what Gaza is teaching us, how can we build that resilience and adaptability to face these adversities that come up still with humility and yet still knowing we have faith? What would you say?
This can't be done without faith.
Yes.
You see, positivity and hope comes only from two concepts. It can come from no other way. This is something we got to accept. Faith is number one. Without faith, you can't have positivity and hope. But then you have to be fair to those people who don't have a book. You can't take a book and shove it down somebody's throat.
Yes.
In religion, it's very clear. There's no compulsion in religion. If you don't find God Almighty on your own, you can't shove him down your throat. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's just going to backfire.
For sure.
It has to come something from internally. And this concept of trying to convert people is a disastrous concept. People look at your behavior.
Yes.
They see more in your action, as the Prophet said, people, when they were business people, when they did justice, when they gave service, when they helped the poor. The lectures didn't matter. It was action that mattered, And that's why when you do the action in the right way, people start following it and they can come on their own.
Yes.
So the second aspect when you don't have faith is spirituality. Spirituality is not restricted to any religion. It covers religion and non-religion.
Yes.
It's an innate concept of people being good, honest, integrity, compassionate, caring, kind. And when you have that type of spirituality, you with that positivity and hope comes. So besides Gaza, let me give an example, a South African example. In 2022, in winter, our truck went up into Komani, Queenstown, into the deep rural area.
Yes.
The moment it got there, an old lady came out of a house on crutches.
Okay.
She looked at the truck. Everybody knows our branding. She looked heavenwards, picked up her hands, and she said, "You never let me down."
Alhamdulillah.
What is the significance of this statement?
Yes.
You never let me down. She prayed to Almighty, whatever God is, whoever her God is same. Just be calling by different names.
Yes.
She prayed and said, "I need help. No connectivity. I'm just speaking upwards. I got no food, no breadwinner, nobody to support me in my house." But she never called me.
Sure.
She never called my office.
Yes.
None of my team members. No email, no WhatsApp, no messages, nothing. How am I supposed to know that this lady in this house in Komani is hungry?
Yes.
How am I supposed to know that? And this truck landed up in this area and her prayer was answered.
Alhamdulillah.
This is the power of faith. It happens to Muslim and non-Muslim. Talking about Gaza, let's go to other areas. People there, we need to question, do we really have faith? It's very easy to say we have faith, but do you really have faith? You can read Salah 5 times a day. You can read the Hajj. You can go for Umrah 5 times a year. You can go for Hajj. Do you really have faith?
Yes.
When you have that kind of challenge, people who are not inside Gaza are saying, does a God exist? If a God exists, why are children dying of starvation? Why is there genocide? Why are they being displaced? Why are they suffering for 76 years? There cannot be a God. It's not possible. But that's the people outside Gaza. And you ask people inside Gaza?
Yes. They'll say the opposite.
It's only because of God that we're surviving this.
Yes.
Because of Allah. And because of their tenacity and their resilience, Allah has chosen them. He said, 99% of my beauty is in Palestine and 99% of my suffering is in Palestine. Because of that beauty, and He has used them as a standard for the whole world to see what faith is all about.
SubhanAllah.
People are not amazed, are more shocked or more caught up in awe, that's the word, that the people could have that kind of faith after what has happened to them. They've stood as a standard, and because of them, the lives of 8.5 billion people in the world has changed.
Yes.
Governments, politics, honoring people because of 2.1 million people in Gaza.
Yes.
Allah has honored them. That is the power of faith. They've changed everything around. And we need to understand that. But now, I want to take the mentality away from, non-Muslim, from Muslim people only. This is not a concept of Muslims only. We need to understand that.
Yes.
In August 2005, we were in a place called Niger. There was hunger, there was famine. Kids were dying from starvation and disease. We walked in, I'm going to cut it short. And as we went through the queues, no adult male came for treatment. No teenager came. No big kid came. And the mothers who brought the small kid never asked for their own help. And I couldn't understand, why did this happen? There's famine, there's hunger, there's disease. Why are they not asking?
Yeah.
And eventually, as we went to queue, I don't know if the guys can see me on TV now, but as we decided to triage, so I walked through the crowds, I touched the child on the shoulder and gave the mother a thumbs up sign.
Yes.
The child is fine, but I couldn't speak Swahili or French. And just did this.
Yes.
You can go. They understood the language of the heart instantly and they walked out.
Subhanallah.
They didn't ask for any more help.
Yes.
They just walked out.
Yeah.
And then they started doing themselves to all the whole teams and they all walked out. And that night when we were sitting together, we were asked, I always have this debriefing sessions with everybody.
Yes.
Tula Sizwe Simulani, journalist on radio, SABC radio at that time, picks up his hand and said, I'm going first. He said, as I was walking to the villages of Tiraberi, I was told 3 to 5 children a day were dying in the village of Tiraberi. I said, stop. I got my answer. He said, what do you mean? I said, no adult male came, no teenager came, no big kid came, no mother took help, and they only took help from the small children because they wanted those children to survive.
Yes.
And they walked out of the queue because their kid may have 3 to 5 days more to live.
Yes.
But the other kids may die this afternoon. So they made the ultimate sacrifice and walked out of the queue, not knowing in 3 to 5 days another medical team is coming. Faith is not only the possession of Muslims.
Yes.
We need to understand that very clearly. Because of their faith, they walked out. Not only did they walk out, they gave another child the opportunity to survive, and their own child will die in 3 to 5 days.
Yes.
That is faith.
Yes.
Can Umrah give you that? Can Tahajjud give you that? Question yourself very, very properly.
Yes.
And because of that sacrifice, we saved every single child in Niger. Not because of our medical skill, because those people helped us and they walked out.
Yes.
That's why we saved every child.
Alhamdulillah. And that is exactly why it's so important for us to realize the importance of faith is not just for having faith for the sake of it. The idea is to have faith for the sake of knowing that through your faith, you will understand that your adversity is now your opportunity to heal, your opportunity to keep growing and to be even stronger. Inshallah, now that we've spoken about Gaza and now that we've spoken about Palestine, I've had this request. So Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, this is a dedication of a song that is a tribute to Palestine. So let's take a listen, inshallah, as we go for a break. Stay tuned.
Ya Khuda, sun sada, Palestiniyon ne क़यामत में आका को दुखड़ा सुनाया तो फिर क्या करोगे फ़लस्तीनियों दुखड़ा सुनाया फिर क्या करोगे अगर मुस्तफ़ा ने नाराज़ होकर तो खपना फिराया तो फिर क्या करोगे फ़लस्तीनियों क़यामत में आका दुखड़ा सुनाया तो फिर क्या करोगे फ़लस्तीनियों क्या करोगे उड़ी जा रही शहीदों की लाशें धुआं बन के अर्शे इलाही की जानिब उड़ी जा रही है शहीदों की लाशें धुआं बन के अर्शे इलाही की जानिब
अगर ये माना खुदा ने दिखाया तो फिर क्या करोगे नसीबियों कयामत में आका दुखड़ा सुनाया फिर क्या करोगे नसीबियों कयामत में दुखड़ा सुनाया फिर क्या करोगे जो तुम खा रहे हो ये लाशें हैं की जो तुम पी रहे हो ये सब खो है आनंद का जो तुम खा रहे हो ये लाशें हैं की जो तुम पी रहे हो
The chaos and destruction in the Gaza Strip is beyond comprehension. Virtually everyone is displaced, hungry, and in urgent need of life-saving humanitarian support. The Al-Imdad Foundation has been working tirelessly to address the health, nutrition, and water needs of the population. Our hospital water deliveries and hot meal programs are made possible with your support. Your donation, big or small, is a lifeline for those in dire need. Help Gaza survive. Donate online at alimdads.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
If you're looking for the best show in town, don't worry, because we've got the schedule sorted. The Dawud Entertainment Tent is the must-see destination inside the Durban Summer Souk. Laugh till you cry with hilarious stand-up comedians, or witness culinary mastery from top chefs. Perhaps enter one of our exhilarating competitions and walk away with cold hard cash. Whatever you decide, just don't miss the show, starting on the 24th of December to the 5th of January. It's Starwood, it's dynamic, it's daily, and it's delivered absolutely free. Only at the Durban Summer Souk.
Radio Al-Ansar welcomes your feedback. If you have a broadcasting related complaint, please put it in writing and address it to the head of the complaints committee. Include your full name, contact details, a clear description of your complaint, and any supporting documents. You can email your complaint to feedback@alansar.org.za. That's feedback@alansar.org.za. Or bring it in person to our Pietermaritzburg office at 240 Ortman Road, Willowton. Your input helps us serve you better.
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban 90.4 FM. Maritzburg 105.6 FM.
I have been searching for you for some time now. It hasn't been easy, but I'll find you somehow. I know the road is long, but if it means me getting to you, I'll sacrifice everything that comes in my way just for you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the BU4U Show with myself, Mehreen Mia. I'm coming to you live from Pietermaritzburg on 105.6 FM. If you're in Durban and the surrounds, you're listening to us on 90.4 FM. And today, alhamdulillah, on the show, we are joined by the legendary Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, the founder of the Gift of the Givers, alhamdulillah. Dr. Sooliman, one of the things that I know we're talking about in today's topic is how to close off 2025 and inshallah how to build a better 2026 regarding community healing and growth. If you have to look back at 2025 yourself, what do you think, in your reflection, what would be some of your reflective points on the wins and the challenges for 2025? And, especially, we all know there's systemic issues as well. But what would you think are your wins and challenges so far for 2025?
There's many aspects, but again, try not to do too many things at the same time, then you can't do anything.
Sure.
Right? But to me, the biggest challenge, people talk about crime, corruption, service delivery. To me, the biggest challenge in 2025, and not only now, for the past 3 years, is hunger.
Yeah.
Hunger is endemic in South Africa. And we see that with the university students, they got all their loans, they got accommodation, they got transport, they got the textbooks, but they're collapsing in the class. And what's important, that overlying central theme is dignity.
Yes.
No matter what you're dealing with, whether it's water,
Yes.
health, hunger, education, the central theme in all of that has to be dignity. If anything can destroy a human being, it's a loss of dignity.
Yes.
And that's a critical aspect that you implement in everything that you do. And of course, we started providing food parcels to university students. And remember, when you're doing this, they don't want other children to know that they're hungry.
Yes.
They do this very quietly because their self-esteem is at risk here.
Yes.
So when you do this, you've got to do this very quietly, unless, of course, they find to accept it openly. That's a different matter. For example, other than the students, when we came to the farmers,
Yes.
I mean, just as an aside, from 2017 August till today, we've spent 400 million rand to save farmers.
Sure.
To save the sheep, to save the farm workers, the farmers, and providing fodder, providing feed, and drilling boreholes in farms to save farmers. And at one point, the Afrikaner farmers came forward
Yes.
and said, you know what, we're starving, but we don't like to put our hand out. And we know our people are battling. Some of them came forward and said, please bring a food parcel if you don't mind, give it to us and take a picture. And take the picture and put it on social media so we can tell the other farmers there is no harm in getting a food parcel.
Yeah.
Because man does not control the weather.
Yes.
We can't control drought and the absence of rain. And they said, look, instead of suffering, this is not in our hands. Let us be brave enough and put the picture. And they did it again 3 days ago. In a place called the Reflectors in Muscle Bay.
Yes.
We've intervened in a massive way in the Nizona in the Southern Cape right now.
Yes.
There's a huge water crisis, but there's an even bigger crisis of fodder for the animals,
Yes.
and the farmers are battling. So we took in 2 truckloads of fodder. One we paid for, and another for a farmer, John de Jager,
Yes.
gave it to us for free.
Oh,
He came
subhanallah.
with his wife.
Yes.
And when he saw the condition, he said, I'm sending you more for these farmers.
Sure,
He brought potatoes.
alhamdulillah. Yes.
And then we gave the food parcels out, both of the farmers and the farm workers. And they appreciated it. And it was not an embarrassment issue or, a negative issue. It was about human beings. They were brave enough and strong enough, and of character to say, please help other people with the example. Now, the other part of hunger, for the last 2 to 3 years, previous to 2 to 3 years, when we went to a site where there was flood or fire, that's the 2 common things in South Africa.
Yes.
In between, you get a tornado.
Of course.
But other than that, flood and fire.
Yes.
We found that in the past, people would ask you, where's the building kit? They want to rebuild immediately. They don't ask for the building kit anymore. They ask, where's the food?
Yes.
And we asked them, like, you're hungry in 2 hours, how's this possible? And then we watch the children eat. I mean, you see the slow movement of the hand as the food comes in the mouth, and you see the eyes. This is not a 2-hour hunger. This hunger is for days. They haven't eaten for days. And when we saw that, we said we can't feed for 3, 5, 7, 10 days only. We may go to 15 or 30 days or longer. But there was another dilemma. The fire and the flood may have been on the left-hand side, but the same type of people stay on the right-hand side also.
Yes.
So we need to go and stay on the right-hand side where there's no fire and no flood if they got a similar situation. So the teams went. And all you do is get the kids to feed again.
Yes.
And you watch the children. And you see the eyes, you see the hand movement into the mouth.
Yeah.
And you find that what's happening on the right, without the fire and the flood, is exactly what's happening on the left.
Side. Yeah.
And, so we're now feeding both sides. Those affected by fire and flood and those not affected by fire and flood. Because at the end of the day, this could have been your child.
Yes.
You could have been on the other side. As an example of gratitude and of your humanity and what Islam is all about, we look at all people equally.
Yes.
And we do this on both sides. And you ask us, how's the year ending? The year is ending absolutely phenomenal. Because all mutual properties saw what we were doing. And, and they saw what our programs are. And them and many corporate companies have come in and said, let's deal with the situation in South Africa. All Mutual has now opened up the 3 malls to us. We got permanent presence in the zone in Rosebank. We opened it yesterday. In Cavendish Mall last week in Cape Town. And last week Friday in Gateway in Durban. We have a permanent presence and we're marketing the hunger campaign right now. They're giving us offices, huge branding, all in the mall. And the digital screens in all these 3 malls got our adverts for hunger. But in addition to that, the 5 other malls that they control, they've put our adverts in all those 5 malls on all the digital screens to support the campaign. To me, what's the highlight? South African companies are now saying, well, they're not saying it now, they've been saying it for quite some time, but it's expanding their CSI value and saying people do shop in our malls.
Exactly.
Let's support the people whose families come to this, or the families of these people who come to the malls. Let's make it realistic and play our part. So Old Mutual has got our adverts in 8 malls, offices in 3 malls, and next year they offered us another 2 malls to open up permanent offices.
Alhamdulillah.
We're going to start running it. But I must bring in a side issue. The Palestine issue is not a Jewish issue or a Jewish-Muslim issue.
Yes.
We must make sure to understand this, it's a Zionist issue.
Yes.
I spoke at this function for Old Mutual on 4th of September in Hout Bay. When I finished off, after Old Mutual Properties came to me and said, you can have the properties, a Jewish guy came to me. And he said, I love what you're saying. I love what you do. I have digital screens in 20 malls. They're yours.
Subhanallah.
1st January till 28th February, Gift of the Givers ads will be running in these 20 malls arranged by this Jewish person.
Subhanallah. If that's not a victory, then I don't know what is.
So
then I don't know what is.
Sorry?
I said that's a victory on its own, really.
And this is the highlight where we spoke about community healing. You spoke in the beginning about that. It's about a collective approach.
Yes.
There's no way to fix this country except working all together. And emphasize in the beginning, take out the labels, take out the logos, take out the uniforms. If you put all the South Africans in one stadium, let's all go to Moses Babila, right? And we take off government. You don't say we put government, political parties, religious people, sports people, administrators, community people, everyone mixed up. And you take all uniforms off. All you will know is people inside here are South Africans.
Yes.
Take a whole mix of problems and throw it into the program. Either you can run away from different entrances, or you can say, okay, we're going to deal with this problem. How are we going to deal with it? Best engineers, best technicians, best social workers, best psychologists. We're going to sit and do this together. We're not going to ask you where you're coming from. Are you from corporate South Africa? Are you from government? Are you from the NGO sector? No. The best people to come here forward and let's sit together. And we work together, no ego.
Yes.
And we work together, and that's how we will solve the problems in the country. As long as the willingness, a commitment, no ego, and the most important ingredient, you have to be a patriot.
Yes.
Too many people are complaining about this, that, and the other. This country has been great to us. Stop complaining.
Yes.
Be a patriot.
Yes.
Don't say you pay this tax and that tax and this, that. Yes, you're paying that. It's a fact. But the taxes of 7.4 million people cannot look after 65 million people, of which 40 million of them were disadvantaged pre-94. You've made money here. You've got growth. You've had development. Yes, there are challenges. There are not so many skilled people doing things. But as a Muslim, we don't run people down.
Yes.
We support, we hold hands. And people inside the various sectors of government are saying, help us, hold our hand.
Yeah.
Again, government is not corrupt.
No.
There's corrupt people in government. We kick them out. The right people work together and let's fix this country together.
Yes,
our country. It does not belong to the government.
It
belongs to 65 million South Africans. We take responsibility, we own it, we act in it.
Alhamdulillah. And I think I'm going to say this, Dr. Sooliman, and I know you're going to say, Mehreen, you did not say it, but I'm going to say it. This is why people want to say, let's give Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman the platform to run for presidency. Alhamdulillah, this is so beautiful. I enjoyed really every bit of the conversation. I have a few seconds, I think, left before I do have to close. Dr. Sooliman, what would be your parting words, especially coming towards 2026 for our listeners?
It's the sting of patriotism.
Yeah.
It's our country, and let's work together. Oh, one important point.
Yes.
The most important point,
Sure.
I would say. As South Africans, as Africans, we need to realize and we need to take the ownership of our country and our continent into our own hands.
Mhm.
So I'm calling on all 1.6 billion or whatever billion South Africans on our continent. We must not allow any foreign government, any foreign agent, any outside force from outside the continent to tell us what to do. This country and this continent is ours.
Mhm.
We will control our resources. We will decide who we will trade with. Nobody's going to put a gun on our head and tell us what to do. It's time we got the youth, the governments, the corporations to stand up and say, this is our continent. Get lost. We don't want you here, and you're not going to tell us what to do. It's time to stand out strongly and firmly, and and make sure you take ownership of your continent and take the guys who cause the havoc and throw them right out of our continent. We don't want them here.
Alhamdulillah. Just Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, Jazakallah khair for joining us, for taking the time and the effort. And of course, I do know with with your brother-in-law being ill as well, I really appreciate that you still took the time to be with us today. And of course, for the insights you've shared, Jazakallah khair for joining me, Mehreen Mia, on the BU4U Show on Al Ansar. We really appreciate you.
Shukran, Jazakallah, assalamu alaikum.
Ameen wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Important points today. Jazakallah khair to Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, and of course my tech here, Kumalo, and the tech there, Zakaria, for making this happen and possible, especially between all of the chaos. Dr. Sooliman still made the time and found himself to our Durban studio and then connected with us here, so we still had this happen. So subhanAllah and alhamdulillah that we were still able to get this out to you, an honor and a legendary interview. Oh my gosh, tongue twisted because Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman was in the house. Anyway, time to go. Brother Kumal is looking at me, and I know Brother Zakaria is like, come on, Mary, we have to go. Alhamdulillah, I'm really honored to have been here and had this conversation with him. I know there's many insights for each one of us. Du'as, again, I will request for Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman's brother-in-law, Mr. Ahmad Mita. Inshallah, Allah grant him complete shifa soon. And of course, du'as for strength to the family as well. Don't forget, you got to keep it locked into this dial. There are many more amazing shows lined up today. I don't have time to give you all of them, but there are fantastic ones coming up. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Astawdiullah dinaka wa amanataka wa khatima amalika. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
24/7, 365.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al Ansar News. An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al Ansar News.